Hey, I haven't uploaded in a long time. It's me, Alexander and Harry. I wanted to talk about doing bench press today. So I had deleted a lot of my old videos because I found them to be, if I'm being quite frank, quite cringy, if I'm being honest. And I wanted to go for more of a straightforward style of what I wanted to truly talk about. And so today I'm actually going to go over the finer points of the different styles of bench pressing. I'm not going to be talking about incline and decline bench press. I'm just talking about flat bench. And I'm mainly talking about the differences between how powerlifters do it and with how bodybuilders do it. Now, if you guys know me at all, you know that I am more of a strongman type competitor. And that's what I train for, but I can't really show you anything for strongman for bench press because there really isn't any competition that would involve a bench press for strongman. But with that being said, I do know a fair amount of powerlifters. My girlfriend did powerlifting and I did bodybuilding. And so I want to go over the finer points of the two different types. So when it comes to doing powerlifting, the main thing is you want to drive as much force as you can into the bar. So you want to use every single muscle that you can, not just your pectorals. And so, for example, you're going to have your feet firmly flat, planted on the floor, not on your toes, not on your heels, but firm and pushing directly on the ground. A lot of people really like to arch their back. That gives them even more drive, and by pushing down with their feet, that gives them more drive. Almost to the point where they're not really showing any pectoral strength at all. But you do want to have your rear on the bench, not your lower back though. Like I said, a lot of people will arch that out. And then obviously you want to have your shoulders, down or to the back and down. That's going to apply to both types of bench presses. Other than that, there isn't really a difference. For both of them, you're going to start out with the bar above your shoulders, like equal to your shoulders, and then you're going to come down to your lower pectoral. And so if you notice when I'm doing it, I don't know if it's going to be exactly great from this angle, but if you're on the side, the bar isn't going to be going up and down directly. It's actually going to be going at an angle. Now this applies for both types. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the powerlifting style first. So, like I said, feet firmly planted on the floor, and then you would make sure your shoulders are back and tight, and you'd arch your back, line up your hands, and then pop them up. Make sure your hands are at your shoulders, and you come down. And if you notice, my rear end is on the bench, but I'm arching my back. And so I'm pushing with my legs. And so I'm not just using my arms and my chest for the drive of this technique. Now, with that, like I said before, it's not a straight path. If it was a straight path, my elbows would be flaring out like this, which isn't good for you. That's how they teach you to do push-ups in elementary school, and that's really not good. You don't want your arms to come straight back, you want them to go down. It's better for your shoulders and better for your elbows as well. Don't know why I pointed to my elbows and said shoulders. Now, with bodybuilding style, it's going to be very similar. There's a few essential differences though. When it comes to bodybuilding style, you don't have to have your feet firmly planted on the floor. You could have them up on the bench. I've even seen people put their legs up entirely. And the main reason for that is because you are trying to isolate the pec as much as possible. Unlike when you're doing powerlifting, when you're trying to use all of your body for the force of pushing that bar. So when it comes to the main difference, it's isolation and complete strength of one particular muscle group versus powerlifting where you're trying to use every single edge you can get. Now obviously this is a vast generalization. I have not competed in powerlifting myself, and I've only competed in one bodybuilding show in high school. So I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on this, but I do know the basics, and that's why I'm talking about it today. So that somebody who out there is beginning, somebody out there who's just starting, will know how to get through it. So, like I said, it's very similar, but the main difference is your core is not going to be flexed up and your feet don't have to be firmly planted on the floor. A lot of the times, I like to have my legs up, just so that I can even isolate my chest even more. If I have them on the ground, I might have a tendency to use them, but that's not always the case. It's going to be the same path with the bar coming down, not flaring out like this. Like I said, that impinges the shoulder a lot. And it's going to be the same thing with shoulders back and down. You know, tight your shoulder blades together and push them down. And that's very important for injury prevention. It also helps to dictate your form so that, you know, you're not shoving your shoulders forward when you're doing it. If you have your shoulder blades back and down, pushing on the bench, then when you come down and push back up, it's a lot less likely that you'll dive forward like this, which can cause severe rotator cuff injuries. So without further explanation, I'm going to show you what the bodybuilding style would look like. For this example, I'm going to have my feet up since I was talking about that. Like I said, you're bracing your core into the bench. You're putting your hands up, you know, your normal distance, and you have it shoulder height and down. And remember, I'm not using any drive anywhere else except from the muscles that I'm trying to isolate, which in this case would be my pectorals, my triceps, and my rotator cuff. Rotator cuff for stabilization, my triceps as a synergist, and the primary mover is my pectoral muscle. Again, I'm going from shoulder height down to lower pectoral. And all the while, I'm keeping my core stabilized and tight with my shoulders back and down. All right, so those are the main two different types. There's obviously a lot of different variations on the bench press. I just wanted to show those two examples. That's why I used only 135 pounds. And I hope you guys liked the video. Comment down below what type of exercise you might want to see me explain next. Maybe you want me to explain a different variation, like I could show you the decline and the incline. And there is a bit of controversy over the decline. Some people think it's not necessary. I don't necessarily think that you need to do it, but I also don't necessarily think that it's a necessity. Like, I don't think it's a necessity, but I also don't think that it's something that everyone can go without. Some people might find it more useful for developing the lower pec than others. Well, that does it for today. I'll see you in the next one.